It's nutritionist Trisha Mandes here, and I am thrilled because I am interviewing a client that has almost been eating optimally for 10 weeks now. She's 8.5 weeks in, but I am in awe of her for so many reasons. She's been such a joy, like making me laugh before we even get on this call. Her name is Shelley. She's 67 years old, a retired nurse, and lives in Minnesota. Thank you so much for sharing your story and experience, Shelley. I am so glad that you're here right now.
Thank you. I'm glad I'm here too.
So, share with me, why did you reach out to me to even do like a free consult call? Why did you want to talk to me as a potential nutritionist? What was going on with your health and your weight about 10 weeks ago?
10 weeks ago, I was just looking through the computer, and there's so many things that come up on the computer, even for weight loss products.
Like Facebook,
And
you mean, when you're scrolling through Facebook?
yes, on Facebook when I was scrolling. And I saw you, and I listened to a lot of stuff on Facebook too. But in the past, I have tried many different weight loss programs. Um, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, LA Weight Loss, Thrive, different, a lot of different things. Even I've tried pills
Hmm.
to try to lose weight. Well, 5 years ago, I had heart surgery that was only supposed to be an angiogram. Excuse me. And it ended up to be a double bypass heart surgery. And in the process, I got compartment syndrome, which is kind of a weird thing to happen, but that means that the blood was pooling in my leg. And they got a hold of Mayo, and long story short, they had this machine called ECMO, and they had put it in my groin, and it wasn't working fast enough, so they put it in my near my heart. And after I had heart surgery, and they reopened me because they thought I was bleeding someplace. And anyway, I got gangrenous leg. I went to Mayo, and by the time I had gotten to Mayo, my husband was driving because I was air flighted there, and they had to take my leg. So they had to wait for my husband to get there to sign off on that. He and my kids made the decision that that was the best. So I've been, of course, very not mobile. I use a wheelchair. I do have a prosthetic leg that I'm trying to get used to, um, but I'm fearful of falling, and I don't want my good leg to for something to happen to that. So I'm thinking I need to lose weight. Well, of course, the doctor didn't want me to put me on any medication because of my heart, and I totally understand that. And when I saw my heart doctor, um, I only had a well, I had a one. I'll back up for a second. I only had a 1% chance to live, and so when I saw my cardiologist, I was in the hospital for 10 months. And so when I saw my cardiologist, I said, should I be on a diet or food plan? He said, you can eat anything you want. And that was the end of that. So I didn't eat much, but in the process of my doing exercises, once I was able to use my arms, because my chest had been open for so long, um, I was like a wet noodle when they sat me up. I had um, no ability to hold my head up even. I was just like a newborn baby that had nothing. So I went from that to trying to learn to walk again. And when I did use my pec muscles, well, I'm going to back up a little bit more. I'm sorry.
It's
But
okay.
I I died, and they had to do CPR on me for an hour and 15 minutes,
When
and
was
they
that?
crushed my
Throughout this journey,
that
when
was
was that?
that was right away after my heart surgery. I woke up, my family had been there. I told them to go home. 12:30 in the morning after my surgery, I coded and died. And they did CPR on me for an hour and 15 minutes, and they crushed my sternum. So I had no sternum. So they had to build up that area with fat, and they pulled my pectoral muscles over. And so I have no feeling in my breast area. It feels like a tight rubber band around there all the time. And when I started exercising, they didn't, when they took the wound vac out of one of my surgical areas, they didn't mesh that, take me back to surgery and put mesh over it to make it stronger. So I got a hernia out of that area. So I have a hernia on my chest that's bigger than my hand when I open my
Yeah, you
hand.
showed it to me in our call last week.
Yes. And so that stifles me even a little bit more as far as exercise goes. So when I saw Trisha's um, program, or when I watched the little short video, I really was interested in eating properly, even though I didn't have to exercise right away. And just eating properly without the exercise, I've lost all this weight, and I'm forever grateful.
Yeah, I
And
wanna I wanna pause you for a second, and
okay,
we'll definitely talk about the results that you've achieved eating optimally because there are many, but I just wanna summarize because I've told you this multiple times. I am in awe of what you've overcome, and you're, in my eyes, like a complete miracle for so many different reasons. One being you died and came back to life on the operating table, but you went in to get an angiogram to
yes,
see to what extent your arteries might have been clogged in your heart.
yep,
And when that happened, they were like, oh my gosh, we need to do double bypass surgery, which is intensive heart surgery with people go through all the time in this country.
yep,
Like that happens
yes,
all the time. And then you had the what is it, compartment syndrome in the midst
yes,
of that surgery. You had gangrene in your leg, so they had to cut your leg off in the midst of
right,
surgery.
yes,
And then you also died in the middle of that surgery and they had to do CPR for an hour and a half.
yes, yes,
And then you had 10 months of recovery after that.
yes,
Also got a hernia in
yeah,
the process. So it's like a big grapefruit
yes,
there. And you were also told by a physician, eat whatever you want. It
yeah.
doesn't matter what you eat, despite the fact that that is what.
What caused?
Right, and I know we talked about this before, is that you were also on cholesterol lowering medications for how many years leading up
Yes.
to that? How many? Do you know?
Oh, at least 10.
I think that's something important to note because I talk to a lot of people, and I would love to know how you felt. Did you feel like the cholesterol meds were protecting you from having to have heart surgery or a heart attack? I don't know. I know you're a retired nurse, but did you ever feel that way leading up to that?
I felt like it was, there's heart problems in my family. My dad and my uncle and my grandma died at age 63. So I knew I probably was going to have heart problems because of just um, the family inherited gene, or whatever you want to say. But I thought being on cholesterol meds prior to that, that would help me so I wouldn't have so much of a heart problem.
Mhm. I talked to
Because it would save me.
I talk to a lot of people, which and I think this is really important for people to know. It's that they assume that if they're on a medication and that if their lab work is then normal, then they're fine. And they don't have to
Yes,
worry about it and they feel the sense of comfort while the medication isn't actually addressing the underlying cause of why your blood pressure is up or why your
Right.
cholesterol is high, whatever it is.
Right.
Because people, you can die with perfect blood work.
Yes.
And I know we talked
Yes.
about this a little bit before the call too, is that there was a study done in the British Medical Journal in 2016 that said when you add all the medical errors up together, United States are actually the third leading cause of death, which is one reason that when clients are in my program, I am so adamant about them advocating for themselves and asking questions and you giving yourself credit. If you are freaking annoying, asking all these questions about, well, show me the research behind your recommendations to the doctors, etc.
Yes.
For these exact reasons. How did you feel, like emotionally, if you're comfy sharing? What was that like for you to have gone in for an angiogram and then end up now being an amputee? Like within that first week, what emotions did you experience?
Well, they had me so drugged up, so I didn't know what was going on
Mhm,
for about, I don't know how soon after. They didn't tell me right away that they had to amputate my leg because I was a golfer. I've been a golfer for 40 years and I taught my husband how to golf, and I thought we were going to retire and be golfing someplace forever and ever. Well, I suppose I could get out there and try to golf with my prosthetic, but I'm just not comfortable with it yet.
mhm,
Perhaps if I would have got it when I was 20 years old, it would
mhm,
have been a different story. But once you're 60, it's a little bit different story. Mentally, I'm worried about falling. I've had a hip replacement already, and I really don't want to break my arms because I need them, and I don't want to break my stump hip. And so it's been, I think, a little bit harder for me to get used to my prosthetics so that I could go golfing.
mhm,
So I was very depressed. Um, and I am on antidepressant medication, and that has helped me. I've had to come to terms with, this is my new life, and this is how, if I want to participate in this new life, I'm going to have to deal with it and be in it.
mhm.
So I go with my husband on the golf cart when he goes golfing and give him tips or whatever. Um, I very much wish that I could golf, but um, I've kind of gotten over that, and I've gotten over, it's been 5 years now, so I've kind of gotten over not having to drive to work, but I've loved my RN career and I very much miss it.
Mhm.
And I don't miss driving in the snow every winter, but um, I miss my residents. I took care of dementia patients and worked in a memory care for 25 years. And before that, worked in mental health on a psychiatric ward for 21 years. And so I very much miss my patients and their families because they became very close.
Yeah.
Um, but
So,
I've gotten over that.
okay. So it was like lots of feelings of depression, and of course you had an expectation or desire, like retirement's going to look like this, and then
Yes,
total shock and awe, and thank God that you're still here. um
yes. I'm thankful too for my kids and for my
how
husband.
Yeah, absolutely. So how long have you been back at home for then, since?
I've been home for 4 years.
Okay.
After I got out of the hospital, I came home,
Okay.
and then I did some therapy on an outpatient basis, um, just for strengthening of my arms and my one leg.
Mhm.
Um, I did that and then when I got my prosthetic, I did some more therapy. That went on for about 3 months once I got my leg. Um, and that has been, I've had to get my leg changed, the top of my legs, because when it was COVID time, my leg got fat because I had nowhere to walk.
Mhm.
And so they had to change the top. Now they're going to have to change the top because I've lost weight.
Mhm. So
But
if you can recall, Shelley, how were you feeling or what were your days like right before you signed up to talk to me on Zoom for that very first time?
I sat in my recliner that I'm sitting in right now and watched TV all day. Just used my wheelchair to get up and use the bathroom. I wasn't participating any housework, and now I've had the energy. And I'd sleep till noon, which there's nothing to get up for. So I was sleeping till noon, watching
Yeah.
TV till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Can you tell us
Mm,
what Dawn would do, what your husband would do every day when you were sleeping till noon? What he would come
He'd
home and do in the middle of the day?
he'd just come in and ask me if I was okay.
I think we're both laughing because when we're on coaching calls, she's like, he'd come in and make sure I wasn't dead. Like,
Dad, yes, well, that was it. And because he was so scared, he's had PTSD just from he
oh,
walked in when the doctor called him to come. He walked in the room and he said my eyes were open, and he said, and they were fixed. I was just laying there, and he was sure I was dead. I'm sorry.
okay. Yeah, I can't imagine what that was like for your daughter and your husband and your whole family. And of course,
Yes.
yeah.
And he the doctor came in and grabbed him and said she's breathing and she's alive. She's on this ECMO machine. And I was just out of it because they had given me so much drugs.
Yeah. So,
So anyway,
so you joined the
yeah,
program. You were
so
like,
I joined the program
you're,
because I was just sitting here getting fat and I wasn't eating anything hardly.
mhm.
Um, and
And
what I was
I
eating
think that I'm
was
going to pause you for a second. I think that's very common for a lot of women in general that come to see me is they're not eating a lot of food at all. They're trying to eat
right.
less out of losing weight.
Yes,
And not everyone can just like go to the gym and move more in order to shed pounds sustainably because so many of the people that come to me are 60, 70, sometimes 80 years old, late 50s. They have diagnoses. They can't. They're in pain.
yes,
they can't just go to the gym about it. So
yeah.
so we talked and then you decided to invest.
Yes,
What
decided to invest.
was mhm,
Yes.
and it's
And
been 8.5 weeks. What have you achieved eating optimally in 8.5 weeks?
eating optimally, I have lost 17 pounds in 8.5 weeks. And I am so proud of myself. And I'm proud that I decided to join you and
Mhm.
make this lifetime change that I will keep. I'm trying to nudge my husband into eating some of the things that I eat, which are very healthy, and um, he hasn't come over to my side yet.
You keep
But
doing you and you just keep leading by
I
example.
know I
That's the
will.
best thing you can do. And
But he's like, "What am I going to eat tonight? What are you going to eat tonight?" And I tell him, and I said, "What are you going to eat tonight?" And he goes,
yeah.
"Well, I know what I'm going to eat."
This is also beautiful to me is that you got off of a blood pressure medication after 3 weeks of eating optimally.
Yeah, and since then I've gotten off of um I was taking 1.5 of my antidepressant, and now I'm only taking half. But it's the one that has to be cut down
You never
gradually.
told me that.
Yes, and I'm off of my pain medication, Mobic.
What?
I talked to my doctor and I said, "Do I have to go slowly off of that one too?" And the nurse got back to me and said, "No, you can just quit." So I'm off of that Mobic, and I'm only taking half of my one uh, antidepressant. So
I
I'm
wish I
still
could
on my daily
freaking
one.
hug you right now.
Well, hug, hug, hug.
That's amazing. That's so amazing.
I'm very happy.
And then how
I've
is
changed my
also go
my
ahead.
demeanor has changed too. I feel happy, Trisha, and you've been a part of that with um what you are so smart and you know so much, and you've provided the recipes, and all we have to do is make them. And some of my I mean, I'm pretty simple and basic, but I see the recipes, I buy the stuff, and I'm going to do some of it because I can stand now for a while. And I take my table in and I cut up vegetables on a small little what do you call it, tray table
Hmm?
deal.
That's what
And
I love hearing. I love hearing that you can now stand up and you can make yourself food now, because could you make yourself food 8.5 weeks
no,
ago?
Don would have to come home at lunch and pop in a LA or lean cuisine.
And
He'd pop.
what are you able to do around the house now? What is your daily life like now? And how is that different than what it was 2.5 months ago? Not even.
Well, about every 2 or 3 days, I wash 2 loads of clothes. I can put them in the washing machine and put them in the dryer and hang them up. And yeah, and then I've been able to open the dishwasher and put the dishwasher or dishes in the dishwasher and run the dishes. So Don doesn't have to do that. So he's less having to be Hazel around the house.
And then are you still sleeping till noon every day? Are
No,
you able? Okay, tell us about that.
I get up at 7:30 or 8 o'clock every morning. So coming out and make my breakfast and um, am able to eat that, get the stuff from it takes me longer, but
Mhm.
I'm able to do it.
So do you
When my
feel
daughter,
like go
when
ahead.
my daughter was here in July, she said, I'd go, Dawn, get me a water. Dawn, get me this. And my daughter, Amanda from Nashville, said, Mom, you get up and get that yourself, dang it. And I'm like, well, I know I can get it, but it takes me so long.
And now
Don's in there. He can get it.
and what's it like
But
now for you?
well, now I just get up and do it because I want to keep my legs strong.
Yeah.
And the less weight now, 20, I'm close to 20 pounds off,
Mhm.
and I can bend over. I can see my crotch. I
Hey!
can, I can uh, trim my toenails, um, do some things that people have had to do for me. I can do for myself.
And what does that feel like for you to be able to take better care of yourself now and then like have more autonomy, also help around the house now? What does that feel like for you to be able to do that now?
Makes me feel wonderful, like I have purpose,
Good.
and I can do do things now. I can't do the same things that I could do before. I can't do my nursing job. I can't take care of people like I did before. Can't cook a big meal, um,
A
for
part of me also
everybody.
wants
But
to be like, yet. I feel like this is wholeheartedly just the beginning for you of like your, a new life meaning with life doesn't necessarily
yes,
mean you're gonna want to or do the same exact things, but I just trust that this is just the very beginning of something a lot greater for you and your ability to move and do things.
yes.
No doubt about that. There's no doubt about
Well, and my husband isn't getting any younger either, and I don't want him to be pushing my fat butt around in the wheelchair, you know, because that's heavy to have to push someone in a wheelchair.
it. And
Or
yeah. And
not all places are handicapped accessible, and it's makes it difficult
I
to
remember, yeah, absolutely. I remember, I think it was a couple weeks ago, we're on a coaching call, and I know part of the reason you wanted to lose weight was then you said to strengthen your stumps or you can use a prosthetic, but you keep losing
yes,
weight. So now the prosthetic is too big. So I said,
yes,
because this is going to be a year process as you continue to shed pounds sustainably. I want you to contact the doctor and
Yes.
see how you can continue to use it while you're shedding pounds sustainably instead
Yes.
of just
Yeah.
like all or nothing, which is a
I
wonderful
did, and I
problem
do have a few things that I can, little plastic pieces that I can put in. It it's tighter on the sides and on the top.
to have.
So when my stump is in there, it gets kind of, I don't want to say square, but it's in there differently.
Mhm.
And there's an area where I can put these plastic things that take up a little bit of
Yeah.
room. So that's going to help me for a little while. So
Mm,
I did get something to put in there.
mhm. Okay, good. Good, good, good. Do you like what you're eating?
I love what I'm eating.
Do you feel full and
I
satiated
lo-
when you
I
eat?
feel full and satiated all the time. And sometimes when it's time to eat, I don't even feel like I need to eat, but I know I need to eat.
Right.
So I just eat
Mhm.
until I just think I can't eat anymore. Then I stop.
And then
But I,
sometimes are you eating just real simple basic things and sometimes
yes,
John might help. So you were able,
yes,
and I just reviewed your travel assignment. You are also going to visit friends now. You're being more social. You're also getting outside
yes,
the house a lot more. So do you feel like
yes,
you have more of your life back now, or like
yes, I do.
living more
Yep.
of life anyway?
Yes, very
What
much so.
good. What would you say to the person who's watching this video that um even if they haven't gone through such a life altering experience, but they have dieted for decades, they've struggled to lose weight, and they're scared to take another chance on themselves, they're scared of failing. What advice or words of wisdom would you give them?
I would say to make sure you try one more time because to this program because it's so worth it. You're going to lose the weight. You're going to be able to eat sustainably for the rest of your life. Um, you can make a choice to eat something, but then you need to go back and not eat that anymore. I mean, sometimes you're just pressed and pressed to eat something from someone. So maybe you'll take a bite or two. And of course, you don't want to do that because you know that's not the right thing to do, but you do it. And you're able to be able to do that. You eat sustainably for the rest of the meals and you are able to have that every now and then.
Hmm?
Not in
Perfection not
excess, of
required.
course.
Yep, perfection
Yes,
not required.
exactly. And it just makes so much sense. And you fit the exercise program to the person once we start exercising, and I just did and started this past week, and it's gone very well. And that is to help my floppy arms and keep my arm. I want to look like you.
Well, I always joke, I got this tattoo, I didn't know I was gonna get the joke, "This is how the red-tailed hawk flies in the air," and you
Yeah.
bet when I'm 80 and I got grandbabies, I'm gonna be soaring that bird all over them, so have fun with it too. Uh,
Yes.
any other parting words or anything else you wanna say before we end the interview?
Well, as a lot of people have said, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And you can because you can either be basic eaters or you can be a gourmet eater in your program. You can fix a lot of different things, but simple is good too.
Mhm.
And you're going to lose the weight and you're going to feel great. And I will be promoting this forever.
Well, it was such an honor and a joy to be by your side, to watch you accomplish everything you've accomplished, like getting off a handful of medication. Yay, being able to see your crotch
Yes.
again and
Yes.
live life more and participate again more with family, friends, just take care of yourself more. I know digestion's improved too, but I'm just
Yes.
um so grateful and thankful to have met you. And I am so excited to see where you continue to go and how you continue to thrive and
And
improve
the
your health. So just thank you so
I
much.
want to say the group calls have been ones that I have attended. Sometimes I think, oh my God, what it was, I was supposed to do something today and I can't remember it. Even I have it in my phone. And yeah, so there's the ones that I have been on have been very good. And I'm interested in talking to the other ladies because, or men, whichever, if whoever would come on the call, because they're in the same deal as I am. They have their issues, I have my own issues, and it's good to talk to people and know that people are in the same boat and
Uh,
have
especially,
truly made a great success um, for this program
yeah, absolutely.
because of you. Because of you.
Well, we have fun, you all make it really
Yes.
easy. Y'all make it really easy. Thank you so much, Shelley. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you too.